Hello and welcome to Politics Up on Vanguard Live. My name is Damlola Ogunshakin. Joining me today is Barrister Julius Nnamani. He's an Enugu State PDP stalwart. Hello, Barrister.
Thank you.
It's
It's a
good.
pleasure
Yes,
to
it's
be
just
with you.
days to the election now. So how is the preparation and how is the campaign going in Enugu?
Yes, the campaign is has equally made tremendous impact in the feelings of the prospective voters, the citizens of the state. One of the reasons is that the incoming governor or the governorship candidate of the PDP has articulated his campaign down to the 68 development centers, which comprise the 17 local government areas of the state. So in his town hall meetings, what he do the town hall meetings, all communities have been activated by his campaign, where he has sold his mandate. The mandate is so detailed that they are taking into account all that and all expected democratic dividends which any governor can give his state. So the detail of which are so numerous to mention at this time.
All right, Barrister, but with the current crisis, rocking PDP at the national level and the internal wranglings, between the warring factions of the party, do you think you still have a good chance at winning at the elections?
Yes, he has a very bright chance. In short, he's leading the pack. When we talk of having chance, he's the only candidate that the grassroots know. And the reason is that the politics of nowadays is not politics of parties per se, especially at the state level. Because the competence of an individual will determine whether people will vote for him or not. So people will look at his competence. One has had a stint in the public service of the state. He was a former chief of staff, later former commissioner for finance. Before he went into business, and the business he has gone into, he has performed exceedingly well. That in the downstream sector of the oil industry, his company, the Pinnacle Oil and Gas Holding, is a company to reckon with. His competence in attaining that very zenith of that entrepreneurial skills, which saw the company to be worth $1 billion as at the time of presidential unveiling sometime in October this year, has equally shown how competent he is. And as a person who can steer the ship of a business to that level, there will be no doubt that he can also steer the political ship of the state of Enugu, if given the chance come March 11, 2023.
I want you to comment on the allegations of the NYSC forgery against Dr. Peter Mbah.
I know it is always very easy for opponents, especially when somebody is making waves in the political firmament. There will be a lot of people trying to bring him down. You remember, in politics, every story, even the one that does not exist, people will bring it up to run a person down, especially somebody they know that he has a stake. The issue of NYC was just of recent. When they saw that some other allegations brought against him could not say, they started this very one. That is, the matter speaks for itself because the record is there. And there are ways of investigating any allegation of criminality. And so in the Pretoria of judicial authorities, it has been stated that speculation or suspicion, no matter how high, cannot grant criminal responsibility. So if somebody can say you've killed a human being, but the onus shift to him. The onus is on him to establish through credible evidence how that one has happened. So the issue of NYC is just something which they started a few days ago, after they have failed in the allegation that he was indicted by maybe as a judgment in which he was involved before the Federal High Court. They could not establish that. In short, some lawyers are facing the NBA disciplinary committee because of somebody manufacturing stories that have not existed. So this other one is, I can call it a case, a case that is watery, very frivolous, because nothing can come out of it. If they cannot come out with the fact that somebody has been convicted through the process of plea bargain, they could not bring certified true copy of judgment. That is what lawyers rely on. Maybe if a matter has already gone to court, court has taken decision concerning a person or whether individual or company, there must be a certified true copy of judgment, which means the judgment must be in the record of the court. None of these things have been shown. So it is like when somebody is moving forward, there will be a lot of obstacles trying to bring him down. But he has surmounted all the obstacles. The next one now, maybe by the 15th of this month, a judgment also may likely to be delivered concerning a suit filed by one of the parties over the issue of non involving the non information or notice to INEC before the primary election of the PDP. But I learned that the very suit was statute barred because there is a limitation time within which such action could have been brought. Though I won't talk much on that because it may be sub judice, judgment has not been delivered. But I'm telling you that those who are fighting against the governorship candidates or the incoming governor, they are just like every human being. If one cannot talk against an individual, it means that that person is a remote person that is not known. So people must fight him to bring him to that they can create a way for themselves. That is normal in politics.
Like you said, like you said that there's a case in courts, and the candidacy of the candidacy of a party's flag bearer, it has not been confirmed because of the issues with the primary elections. So is your party still on track? Even
very,
with this
very
much
much.
Is going on?
It is anybody can go to court. In short, when people go to court filing frivolous application, the only thing is that in Nigeria these days, a lot of things, the level of corruption has affected all facets of life, including the judiciary. Otherwise, when a lawyer takes up a case that he cannot establish properly, he's supposed to be sanctioned. The rule of professional conduct mandate lawyers to also behave in such a way that they will not be found wanting when situations like this arises. So they may go to court. The verdict of the court will determine, which I know and I believe, because the provision of that, the very guide to Electoral Act is also constitutionally provided for, which means limitation law apply, limitation time. It is statute barred, as I believe, because of the time the action was brought. So there's no cause for alarm. The law remains the law, and there are many plethora of authorities that have decided on similar circumstances.
All right, let's take a look at the candidates in Enugu. Do you think your own flag bearer has enough people to vote for him?
Yes, number one is that the state has been governed by PDP since 1999. That is number one. Then aside from that, even when some people have misgivings about the success or otherwise of PDP for all those years, they still see all the people that have governed the state have made great impact. And government being a continuum, there must be a continuation of all those good will established by PDP. And every father prays that his son will be greater than him. So even if the current governor, as it is, has done his best in different areas, it behoves on the incoming governor to also take up the cudgel from where the current governor stops and do better because of the knowledge he has already possessed, which those credentials will help him to achieve superlatively in the governance of the state. So I can mention some of the areas that he has come. One, he believes that the issue of insecurity now is also one of the causes of insecurity is the high level of unemployment. People will go to school and they will not get jobs. Even unemployment is also caused by the curriculum. That if you try, even at the secondary school level, try to improve, to turn around some curriculum that will be trending, like in the area of ICT, people will come out of school and prepare to create something for themselves. They will not be looking for white-collar job. They will become employers of labor instead of waiting to be employed. He has all those package in his curriculum. That is equally why he has. The people have accepted, even those who were doubting him at the beginning. And in the course of his campaign, he had brought all these things in detail through the town hall meetings, through normal campaign that other campaign committee has also sold to the grassroots. So it is not in doubt that he has a large followers. Even 2 weeks ago, the Enugu East Zone. You know, we have 3 senatorial zones in each state of the federation. Mm-hmm. So the zone he comes from is Enugu East. Enugu East as a whole came to the popular Opera Square to endorse him, even across party lines. Some APC stalwarts even gave their vote to called on people to support him because of what they have seen, the foresight, the visionary leadership intend to bring to the state. So it is not about, as I said, it is
but is the endorsement of just these people, is it enough for him to sink the votes in his favor? I mean,
yeah, not only the endorsement. As I said, Enugu State is comprised of 17 local government areas, and each of those local government is further divided into 4 development centers, which is in Lagos here is like local council development areas. So the same very candidate has toured all the 68 council development areas in the course of selling his manifesto. And in each of these visits, traditional rulers, leaders of local government in that area, and the president generals of communities have embraced him and given him their support. So you need to see the crowd on the 27th of last month when the campaign was formally lifted. I mean, not lifted, the formal campaign kicked off. So the number of supports is overwhelming. And I'm sure the support is not only by holding rally. Then on the 11th of this very February, there will be more than 2 million march just to show the people that the candidate is standing with all the balance expected of a governorship candidate who want to clinch the ticket. The Lion Building is the seat of power in Enugu State. So he is sure, and he lead others who are aspiring or jostling for that seat, which only one person can occupy. And that person will be Barrister Dr. Peter Mbah.
All right, with the issues surrounding security, various groups threatening the peace in the East right now. Do you think there will be peaceful election?
No, that one, nothing has equally happened. Actually, I know that there's likely there's a faction of IPOB that used to say that there will be no election. But in all the campaigns, the governorship candidate have been, all the town hall meetings, we have not had any issue of violence because of any attack. Even in the campaign that occurred, as I said, where all the state gathered, all the wards, chairmen and their members on the 27th of last month, no issue of insecurity. Even one reported case did not take place. So it is not in doubt that even on the 11th of this month, February, that there will be 2 million march, just to show people in the city that PDP is still in charge, and they will continue for now, at least in this bench, to govern the state. Now, there's no doubt there will be no insecurity. And Enugu State has been peaceful relatively compared to other southeastern states. Because one, the governor has been loving, he spent much, he has made effort in the area of insecurity. We can only talk of insecurity mainly from Fulani herdsmen, which will not come to the city but at the farmland. That is the only major area that we have of we hear of insecurity in the state.
So what are his plans, to prevent this from happening later on when you're talking about the attacks in the farmland?
No, those ones are part of what it is also contained in his campaign. That some of because sometimes you will not see those people coming without collusion of some people, some disgruntled element within the environment. Some of them would have reached an agreement with them, leased out the land without the knowledge of the owners of the land. So those things the governorship cabinet have promised he will take care of if he's elected. There are also a lot of, if we're moving the economy of the state from 4-point-something billion dollar to over 30 billion, so that Enugu state will be counted among the few states that is leading in the country. They had made that promise. His foresight and what he had achieved in business, we leave no person in doubt that actually is going to do so. Because I was even surprised when at the Lekki Free Trade Zone, the cream, the type of office people in the business conglomerates, government officials from different parts, all walks of life, who thronged that very event. It shows that the governor has a lot upstairs. And if he can, in short, it's an asset that we're supposed not to lose. We may not have that chance if people fail to elect him.
All right, let's talk about the presidency. I know this is an opposition party, but what do you think about an Igbo presidency and Mr. Peter Obi?
Yes, the Igbo presidency. Are we talking of Igbo presidency? Anyway, presidency of a person from the southeast. Now, equitably, Nigeria having, with the way things are, it is only the southeast that have not produced the presidency of this country. And it happened at a time now that somebody from the southeast is the most credible in terms of what somebody has done, is the most credible person among the people contesting now. That is the only person that can bring Nigeria from the indebtedness that that is daunting or have equally threatened us to out of existence. Because with the way he managed, for somebody to hand over power and leave 75 billion when his state is not an oil producing state at that time, it shows how economical the person is, how not interested. If his in-laws were taking contract, that money will not be enough. He could have even borrowed on the head of the state. But that tells you that Peter Obi, for example, has shown that definitely he can deliver. He can bring Nigeria out of the doldrum, which we find ourselves now. If Nigerians will recognize that somebody has the intellect. So I have never seen any person who has been offered a land, even when all of the majority will corner the whole land to themselves. Is it the person you appointed that will give you land? But when he could not corner any land for the 8 years, somebody appointed gave him land and he rejected. That person, if it is in America, they will be begging him to come and rule. But the way Nigeria is not a country that the best is always appreciated. But the youth have taken up the cudgel to revive this nation as it should be. If the youth recognize that, no amount of forces will stop him from going to the seat of power at Asoro. So because he's most credible, not because he's an Igbo man, it's because there is somebody that would have come out, even though it is a turn of the Southeast. People will say, this person is even going to disgrace us. But people are happy with Mr. Peter Obi because his life is not even that of Nigerian life. How can somebody tell you that if you have followed I started respecting him in 2014 when he came. He was one of the keynote speakers during the NBA conference in Owerri. When he told us how he administered the state, Anambra later became #1 in WAEC and NECO because of management. He saw that the money put in the Ministry of Education used to enter whole and they enter people's private pocket. And teachers will be marketers, open their shop and come to teach whenever they like. He decided to engage some missionaries to run missionary schools, thereby making everybody attentive to his or her responsibility. By so doing, the level of awareness and understanding increased. So the that Anambra State that used to be number 26 later started being number 1 in both WAEC and NECO. Such feat, if replicated in Nigeria, will turn Nigeria to a very proud country. The resources of Nigeria will come back. Look at what is happening in the Niger Delta, the level of stealing of the national wealth. That there's even a pipe to the center of the sea where foreign ship will come and carry oil and steal oil. And you still have naval officers that will be watching from their, whom they say that they will equally us to see any ship that enters our territorial waters more than miles away before they got there. They will tap the oil until their ships are filled and go away. No person will disturb them. That shows that it is the mismanagement of our resources that make people impoverished. It's not that we are not blessed. If we have a good leader, like the way the Peter Obi has also showcased himself, definitely things will be different. Nigerians will. That is the same way I've seen our own Peter Mbah in Enugu State. He has shown that in the private business he started. Though many people continue making, just as I said, when somebody is doing well, those who are his opponent will try to run him down. But the onus is on them to establish that what they are saying is true. If not, how many people that rule their state could, based on being good in business to the extent of having many employees, and the business is growing in Nigeria. Yeah. If we have even had such situation, I think the labor unemployment would have been reduced. But he has shown that with the little he had, he did business. He started from one small shop and grew to become a giant. And yet people are not happy over that. That shows how the dexterity in him and the competence.
All right, Barrister, we've talked about Labour Party's presidential candidate. Tell us about PDP presidential candidate also.
Yes, with the as I've just said, I will not talk because even in Enugu State belongs to the G5. The G5, of which the G5 itself is not that they have issues because of the issue of zoning. That it is not being Nigeria being a very wide it's not possible for presidential candidate to be in the north and the chairman of the party to be in the north. Ordinarily, it is the south that the presidency of the PDP would have been zoned. So that disagreement also affected all the people, and we cannot be running foul of what our own governor standing for. So the governor is one of the G5 governors that has the belief that if the PDP had wanted at that national level to do justice as even its constitution has provided, that they should conduct things in such a way that there will not be domination of any segment of the country. Now, by having national chairman of the party and the presidential candidate of the party in one zone, it all means that they are doing something that shows that others are insignificant. And that is why the emergence of the G5, which Enugu State Governor is one of. And therefore, I'm telling you that I don't need to talk much about the presidential candidate of PDP, because we know PDP in our state as it is now, not about the national part of it.
But PDP is not only about Enugu State.
Yeah, that is why we are talking. That is why I'm saying that I've already stated that no person can say who this person will not win. But I'm telling you that we are not seeing the PDP presidential candidate as the person we are going to vote for. Not everybody will. You cannot as well rule out that there are still people from Enugu State that will vote for him. Yeah. Because, as I said, it is candidates now and not party. You understand? Yes. So that understanding that people are concerned about the competence of each individual candidate, not about the party, because there is no party ideology. PDP and APC, all of them are the same. It is only a change of guard. If you move to this, some people would have even completed a circuit within 1 year. They would have come back, go back, and come back again. So can you call it, if it is where you have ideology for a particular political party, and when you move, you mean you have moved from what you believe in. There's no belief, political belief. Therefore, there's no difference between, we are talking of candidates.
All right, lastly, what do you think about the beavers? Do you really believe in it, and do you think it will help your state in the upcoming election?
Yes, the beavers that by mother voters, beavers as you call it, by the way they explain to us, appear to be very good to stem the issue of either rigging. Because one, the problem now is, can INEC effectively? Because all the INEC, both ad hoc and the permanent staff that will handle election, supposed to make it through their education, let people know that before voting there will be full accreditation through that beavers. I think what affected the Oshu election from the result, what came up at the end of the judgment given, was that if, assuming INEC had been uploading accreditation at the polling stations at the time of that accreditation, people would have known after voting that this number of accredited voters were the one uploaded, and therefore whether they correspond with the number of voters as a result. But in this case, INEC that released the particular document which was used in later brought another one giving conflicting results. This is also the argument of many, whether INEC has played its own part in that Osho saga, and what lessons would have INEC learned to prevent such a situation. Mind you, in the case of Osho, all eyes were in Osho State. This is a national election that will be happening at the same time throughout several states. How can that be right? How can INEC bring the education to the level of people to understand that this is what beavers can do and this is what it cannot do? And also about human interference on that beavers. Whether there's anything the INEC staff can do to prevent beavers from working. We have heard that beavers can work offline. That means it doesn't require network. But the transmission of results to the INEC server can only be done through network, which means if it is entered before you get to where INEC, the implication is that between that time and where you get to where network may be available, many things could have happened. How do they stem the tide? The problem associated with that one. Those are some of the things that INEC is supposed to answer, the questions they're supposed to address to show us that they are ready to minimize election rigging to the barest minimum.
All right. Thank you very much, Barrister Julius Nnamani, for joining me today.
It is a pleasure. I really appreciate the members of the management of Vanguard. I didn't even know that this is very well, is something that is, it is a very good opportunity you've created for the masses to express their view and their opinion politically and for the interest of all. So I'm grateful. Thank you very much.
Yes, and good luck with the campaign and the elections.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and it's Barrister Julius Nnamani, an Enugu State PDP stalwart. He just spoke to us about the upcoming election in Enugu State. That's all we have for you today on Politics Hub. My name is Damlola Opunshakin. Do well to like and follow us on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. On Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, our WhatsApp number is also displayed on your screen.